born into a very athletic family. All my siblings were involved in sports, so they put me in gymnastics, and I mean, honestly, the rest is history. I loved gymnastics from the moment I walked into the gym and I saw the foam pit and the trampoline. It was just really natural for me to be in the gym.
Every single time she went, she learned something new or she accomplished something new. So I think that was great motivation for her, and that got her hooked.
I competed at the elite level by the time I was 10, and I was on the U.S. national team by 11. It was also around that time that I watched my first Olympics on TV and decided in that moment that I wanted to be an Olympian someday. That kind of started a few years of me making the U.S. national team, competing internationally, and really proving myself on an international stage. You know, had a good performance at Olympic trials and made the Olympic team, which was absolutely a dream come true. After the fact, when we're standing on the podium and we're hearing the national anthem, and I looked to my teammates and I'm like, we just won the gold medal. Then looking back now, just thinking how we were able to go out and compete as well as we did and win a gold medal for our country, it's pretty incredible that we were able to do that considering the circumstances and some of the things that were going on. So when I was 14 years old, I learned firsthand what child sexual abuse was. Being a young gymnast, you know, a lot of times we relied on the adults around us to make sure we were safe and protect us. I think that's the really hard concept for people to understand, is that sometimes the abusers are hiding in plain sight. In my case, it was my doctor.
Dr. Larry Nassar was a longtime sports medicine physician at Michigan State, the national team physician for the women's artistic gymnastics team, and the Olympic physician. And he was the physician at her gym. So Jordyn had to deal with him from the time she was a young girl all the way through the Olympics.
He had developed a relationship with both me and my family. I was groomed by him for many, many years, and I didn't even realize that at the time while it was going on. I had even talked about it with my teammates. Is he doing this to you too? Is it like this? And we all had a similar experience. I knew it was uncomfortable. I knew it didn't seem totally right, and kind of just finally came to the realization that this was sexual abuse.
We sued Dr. Nassar in September of 2016. Hundreds of people came to his defense all over the country. He couldn't do this. He's a wonderful man.
One of the biggest things was, will people actually believe me? And I think that's what a lot of victims of abuse feel. A huge percentage of the outcome of an abuse victim is based on how people respond when they report the abuse.
And then it turns out 36,000 images of child pornography were found on his hard drives by the Michigan State Police. She hired me and my firm to represent her against Michigan State, the U.S. Olympic Committee, USA Gymnastics, and the FBI. Eventually, there were hundreds of criminal complaints.
Hundreds of athletes, we later found out, were taken advantage of in a really horrible way. It kind of hit me like, wow, you know, we have a voice now, and it's a powerful voice. And when we speak up, people are going to listen.
Nassar was convicted in state court and was sentenced essentially to 180 years. He was also sentenced to, I think, 30 years in federal prison. And I can tell you that the reason he went to jail is because you had world famous people like Jordyn willing to stand up and testify. Jordyn was incredibly instrumental in getting these settlements and justice for her fellow survivors. Not only did she testify at Nassar's sentencing, she testified before the U.S. Senate. She supported bills in California to help survivors of sexual abuse by physicians. You know, she helped build an incredible program at UCLA, and she's building an incredible program in Arkansas.
Almost immediately after I moved to Fayetteville, I got reached out to by the Children's Safety Center of Northwest Arkansas. The entire walls of the whole facility is covered in these handprints. And I later learned that whenever a child goes in there to get help, they get to put their handprint on the wall. It's incredibly powerful just to walk in and see how many children have been helped by this one little office.
At Children's Advocacy Centers, we see children who come in, have experienced some pretty significant trauma, maybe struggling in a number of areas, but we also see them heal.
That's what makes these advocacy centers so important, is because when children are able to go there and get the help that they need and be listened to and be supported almost immediately, their outcome is going to be much better. And it can't erase the things that have happened, but at the minimum, it can help them figure out a way to keep moving forward.
The truth is, most survivors don't speak of it publicly, and she didn't have to. She could have kept her name confidential, but I think Jordyn recognized the unique position she was in as an Olympian and as a gold medalist, and instead she did. And what it led to was not only women coming forward on Nassar, but there's been thousands of other physician cases. She will never meet the little girl she saved, but they exist.
It was a really empowering experience to go and say, this is not right, and I want to make sure this is not happening to any gymnast in the future.
I think the key to recovery as a survivor is giving meaning to what happened to you. I think what she's done is give meaning to her suffering.
From a young age, I kind of developed this practice of resilience and the ability to just keep getting back up when I would experience a failure. But now that's one thing I'm just really excited to be able to give to other people, is just to teach them we all have the ability to be resilient. It just looks a little different for everybody.
The other side of trauma is resilience. So we see the phoenix rising on a daily basis at children's advocacy centers. And not only that, but we as professionals experience vicarious resilience because we get to experience someone healing.
She feels it's important to go out there and give other young people that have gone through some not so amazing things the courage to speak out and tell their story.
Talking to other survivors, that's not easy. It shows how much she cares about children and how much she cares about young women. If you have ever observed her around her gymnasts, both at Arkansas and at UCLA, she's full of love. That's pretty remarkable to watch. She coaches the way she would want to be treated as a gymnast.
I can see her drive and seeping into every aspect of that job, being a mentor to her student athletes. Her coaching style is nothing like the way she was coached. The way that she coaches is looking at the athlete as a student athlete and as a person, and not just the athlete alone and the means to winning and all of that. I tell Jordyn that I think that her athletes are really, really lucky to have her.
I'm just grateful that, I'm having an impact, and I'm going to keep doing that. There are a lot of kids out there, especially, that don't know what to do, don't know who to go to. My number one message is always ask them questions and hear what they're saying and really listen and believe them. The awareness is the most important piece, and making sure every adult knows what to look for, what the signs are, and can really just be in a place of making sure we're protecting kids whenever we possibly can.
At the end of the day, it's about the people and helping to kind of launch somebody off into the rest of their life. Just the fact that Jordyn can be a part of that is really probably the coolest thing you could ask for.
Jordyn's one of the greatest gymnasts in American history, a role model for young women.
To be the best in the world at something, that's pretty amazing. To do that in spite of the things that Jordyn was experiencing, what a loss it would have been for America and for Jordyn herself if what she experienced in childhood prevented her from doing something she had such incredible passion for.
I definitely admire the fact that she is still able and still strong enough to show people that even someone who's, to some people, they might think has the perfect life, it's not perfect all the time.
She's really leaving these women in a better position than they were to begin with. I'm just really proud to know her and to have represented her.
Receiving this award, it helps her continue to be courageous. Her legacy isn't tarnished, but enhanced by the fact that, she's willing to go out on a limb and share her story and be vulnerable with so many people.
I'm super proud of her. I just think that it was all kind of meant to end this way.